chain management through smart replenishment features, and especially with the help of our reordering rules. So before we start, please take a moment to scan the following QR code, which will send you to the pad where you can ask all your questions. So we'll have some time after this talk to answer them together. But now, let me ask you, have you ever faced the frustration of running out of stock when you need it the most? Or perhaps you faced the opposite problem, your warehouse overflowing with too much stock. Or maybe you've even noticed that you're placing too many small orders in a short period of time, driving up shipping costs and complicating your logistics. Unfortunately, these situations are all too common in inventory management, and they can eat away at profit and productivity. But what if there was a way here to make smarter and more strategic decisions? Well, lucky for us, because that's exactly what Odoo's reordering rules do. They are your inventory's traffic lights. They track your stock levels and suggest when it's time to replenish, ensuring you don't fall below your minimum or the stock beyond your maximum quantity. You're still in control. Odoo simply makes it easier for you to know when and how much to reorder based on real-time data. And here's the exciting part. With Odoo, using basic reordering rules is nice, but unlocking their full potential can transform the way you manage stock. So today, we are going to look at some real-world scenarios that show how Odoo's smart suggestions can help you on those topics. But before, let me set the stage by telling you a bit about our fictional company, ProSpace Furnishings. So ProSpace is a distributor specializing in high-quality office furniture for other companies, and they partner with manufacturers and suppliers to source everything from ergonomic office chairs to desks, for example. And as a distributor, well, managing inventory is, of course, really critical for them, as you can imagine. So let's deep dive into how we can help ProSpace. And we are going to start by getting straight to the heart of the matter with this first question, really important to ProSpace, which is how to avoid overstocking or stockouts. So to answer that, let's go to our database, and let's start with our large meeting table here, so which currently still have one unit left in stock. And so this product doesn't sell frequently. It takes up a lot of space, and customers generally agree to wait a bit for it before the delivery. So for this reason, we have decided to set up a manual reordering rule with minimum and maximum quantities set to 0. So this means that we only replenish it when we need it, even if it may happen that some stock remains in the warehouse and that we should use it first. What's also interesting to know here is that even if automatic reordering rules do exist in Odoo, ProSpace has decided to go for manual ones as they want to closely monitor the replenishment suggestions, as we'll see later. All right, so let's say we've just received a call from one customer, and he wants to order one of these tables. So just adding the product here. And here we can see Odoo is suggesting a delivery time of 12 days. So for your information, this time frame actually comes from the customer lead time I've set up here on my product form. And in this case, it also matches with the time my supplier takes to deliver me the product, but we'll see that in details later. Okay, so here I'm just going to confirm my SO. And now let's go into our replenishment dashboard, which actually gathers all replenishment suggestions coming from my manual reordering rules. And here we can see for a large meeting table that we have a forecasted stock of -4 and a suggested to order quantity of 4 units. So to better understand why Odoo is suggesting this, let's open our forecasted report here. And from here, I can see, based on all sales orders scheduled for this product, that while our forecasted stock, the long-term one this time, is at -6, Odoo indeed suggests to order 4 units to arrive by the 15th of October. But so here you could think, okay, but why the 15th of October and why only 4 units? So to answer this question, let's come back here and let's open our little I menu here. And from here, I can actually understand that this date represents my first possible replenishment date based on the lead time of my usual supplier, so next-gen office interiors, meaning it actually takes 12 days to receive the product. So basically, if we don't place an order today, while our stock is expected to fall below the minimum in 12 days, well, we won't have enough time anymore to restock before we run out. So that's why it's essential to reorder today so that our stock gets replenished just in time to meet demand and avoid a stock out. And if we come back to our forecasted report, we can indeed confirm that, because here we can see that Odoo has taken into account everything that needs to be delivered here within the next 12 days to deduce its 4 units to replenish. Any orders scheduled for later than that, such as these two here, well, they can actually still wait to be replenished so that we don't overstock the warehouse while waiting. So that's why they are not taken into account yet. Okay, so here, as I'm happy with this suggestion, I'm going to accept it, and I'm going to confirm my RFQ right away so that everything stays aligned. Okay, so let's just take a moment here to insist on just-in-time logic that you've just seen. So we can say it only suggests replenishing what's immediately necessary, because otherwise you'd be late in reason of your replenishment lead time. And by focusing only on what's required right now, Odoo helps prevent overstocking while making sure your stock arrives exactly when it's needed. So minimizing costs like storage and leaving you more cash flow while keeping your inventory lean and efficient. So of course here I'm showing a case a bit caricatural. In reality, you would have set a security lead time here with Odoo to set a buffer of time between your receipts and your deliveries, or you would have set a min and max level different than 0. But this case is here as an illustration. All right, so it was all good to know, but now I have another question. What about transportation? Supplier discounts for bigger orders, or even administrative costs? Sometimes replenishing only what's immediately necessary isn't the most cost-effective solution. So in this next case, we'll explore how Odoo can help us to better balance our costs. So let's go back to our database, and let's go once again to our replenishment dashboard. So here we can see that we have our office chair plug product, which is also managed with a minimum and a maximum quantities set to 0. And here we can see that for our first possible replenishment date that you can always find in this menu, we have a forecasted stock level of -14. So this means that we would order only this amount if we were following pure just-in-time logic. However, here, by checking my forecasted report, I can see that I have some sale orders here which are really close in terms of dates to my first possible replenishment date, but they aren't being considered yet. And given that our supplier is in Asia and that shipping costs are really high, it might not be cost effective to place multiple small orders in a short succession of time like that. And indeed here, a colleague recently made an analysis, and he suggested that by included other quantities to replenish to cover future demand for the next extra 30 days, to group with what we already need to replenish today in order to get a larger order, we would be able to better balance our storage and our transport costs. And lucky for us, because Odoo makes that easy with our visibility days feature here. So I'm going to enter 30 days here. And first, we can see that our forecasted quantity for first possible replenishment date hasn't changed. normal, as this date hasn't changed either, and we are still taking our decision based on that information. However, if I come here, I can see that my suggested to-order quantity has been updated to include extra demand for the next extra 30 days. And if I open again my forecasted report, I can now see the difference. Odoo now shows both the to-order quantity for pure just-in-time logic and the adapted to-order quantity included demand for the next extra month. Okay, so let's take another moment here to insist on the fact that visibility days actually doesn't break just-in-time logic. It doesn't treat every future need within these extra days as being urgent. Instead, it looks ahead only if we already need to replenish today, and it then checks in the next extra days if future orders can be grouped to optimize the process. But so, remember here, with visibility days, we don't break just-in-time logic, we are optimizing it by taking into account other costs such as transportation. All right, so as I perfectly agree with this suggestion, I'm going to accept it. But before I confirm my RFQ, I'm wondering if we can optimize this even further by adding other products from the same supplier. However, here, as you can see, nothing else is immediately needed. But if I remove my to reorder filter and that I come here to do a group by vendor, I can see that they also supply, let's check, a conference share product. So this product is managed with a minimum of 50 units and a maximum of 100 units because this product is actually a high runner and we want to always have it in stock so that we can offer a one-day delivery to our customer. And here, as you can see, we currently still have 50 units in stock, so there's no immediate need to replenish, but well, it wouldn't really hurt me either to place an early order here and to already replenish up to a maximum quantity. So that's what I'm going to do by selecting my reordering rule and clicking here on Order to Max. Now, if I open my RFQ, I can see that the conference share has been added to the order for 50 units, which will help maximizing our shipments. Okay, so as it's all right for me, I'm going to confirm the RFQ. Okay, so now we are able to better balance our costs, and we can focus on another situation we have all faced, supplier delays. So imagine a vendor informs you that the delivery will be delayed. How does Odoo help you manage this situation efficiently? So to answer this question, let's come back to the DB once again, and let's say that one supplier, Next Gen Office Interiors, has just called to explain that for a previous order, they will exceptionally take 2 more days to deliver. So here, I'm going to open my receipt, and I'm going to change my receipt date here. So for your information, I don't want to do it directly from my PO because I want to keep track of what was our originally agreed deadline with the supplier, which is here. Okay, so let's now come back to our replenishment dashboard to see what happened. And here we can see that the reordering rule for the large meeting table has reappeared again with the same suggested quantity to replenish than before. And this is actually because our first possible replenishment date hasn't changed, and our supplier was originally expected to be able to deliver in 12 days. However, here, Odoo can see that at this date, we are still expecting to arrive below 0 because of the delay. So that's why we have this suggestion again. However, here, Odoo has already seen that there is a problem because it's showing me a warning saying, due to receipts scheduled in the future, you might end up with excessive stock. So check the forecasted report before reordering. And that's what I'm going to do. So if I come here, I can see that indeed, I have already an existing PO with a receipt date which is after my first possible replenishment date. And it's going to be a problem for this SO as well. So here, what I need to do is warning our salespeople that they must notify the customer about the 2-day delay. Once the delivery orders are postponed by 2 days in Odoo, I won't see this suggestion anymore. But in the meantime, as I don't want to see it, I'm going to snooze it by using the snooze option here for 1 day. Okay, so before we move on to our next topic, we can just quickly add that if we want to better resist to delays like this in the future, we should definitely set a security lead time here so that we get a buffer between our receipt and our delivery dates, and in which it will help us for sure to better manage this situation in the future. Okay, so we have already seen a lot of things, but I still have one last question. What if we need to step away from this just-in-time logic? So, for example, let's say in my case, I know I only have time to review stock once a week, as I'm really busy, and I don't want to miss anything between 2 weekly checks. So what could I do here? So here, fortunately, the new Odoo 18th time horizon is a great solution to deviate from just-in-time logic. So let's check how exactly together by going back one last time into our database. So here, let's take as an example our drawer product. We can see that here we have a suggested to order quantity at 0. So this means that there is no immediate need to replenish this product. However, as I'm only checking stock once a week, and it's today, I'm going to set my horizon to 7 days. And here you can see that both our forecasted quantity and our to order quantity have now been updated. I must now order 8 units. So if I want to understand why, I can open my forecasted report here, and I can see that Odoo is now detecting these 2 sales orders, which could technically still wait under just-in-time logic. But well, I would still need to order them, to replenish for them within the next 7 days anyway. So here I'm just a bit early, and it's not really a big deal to me to break just-in-time only for a few days. So as this perfectly aligns with my new weekly schedule, I'm going to accept this suggestion. All right. And so here on our RFU, we can see that our expected arrival is actually still our first possible replenishment date, which means that the product will wait a bit in my warehouse before being delivered. So we are not in just-in-time logic anymore. But as I said, it's not a big deal to us at the moment. So I'm going to confirm this RFQ. And now that everything is on track and that we're done, it's now time to conclude. So today, we have explored how Odoo's reordering rules go beyond simple stock management and can really help you to optimize your supply chain. So first we saw how just-in-time replenishment paired with min and max level and security buffer time can participate in avoiding overstocking and stockouts. We also looked at visibility days, which help you to optimize the quantity to replenish so that you can better balance storage and other costs, such as transportation. On top of that, the order to max options enable us to replenish stock early, and then we are able to smartly group products together when reordering. We've also seen how Odoo's warning alerts us about issues such as delays so that we can act quickly and stay in control. And finally, when you feel you need to break just-in-time logic for any reason, such as busy periods, the new time horizon feature is there to offer this flexibility. So, in conclusion, by using all these tools, you've now got the keys to optimize your stock management strategy and make smarter decisions for your business. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you've gained valuable insights into how Odoo can help you on those topics, and I'm looking forward to answering your questions.
About replenishment, we see that this is a topic of interest given the number of people in the room. You did really great.
Thank you.
So let's switch to the questions. We have already many in the pad, so let's try to answer as many as possible. Someone is asking, will it be possible to have an actual forecast based on past sales performance?
It's not on the map right now, but why not in the future? We never know.
You showed how a PO delay can identify connected sales order. Is there any feature to automatically inform the customers for those orders?
Yes, so now from Odoo 18, you are able to filter your delivery order, so from your sales order, on the filter which is named late availability. So if you won't be able to meet the scheduled date for your delivery order, you can just filter based on this, and you will know for sure that you need to postpone your delivery.
And you can send directly a message to the end customer.
Exactly, from the chatter.
Okay, perfect. Can you replenish multiple products manually into one PO? If yes, how does this work if the products have multiple vendors?
Well, by default, it will choose the first vendor in your vendor price list. So if you haven't set another vendor on your reordering rule, when you are going to launch a replenishment, it's going to be this one by default. And so if you want to select multiple products from the same vendor at once, you can just select them in mass and send them into one RFQ where they will all be together. And if you know, well, there is a product where sometimes you're choosing one vendor and sometimes another, from the eye menu that you have seen today, well, it wasn't the case here because I didn't have so many vendors, but you could totally choose another vendor from here if you want to deviate from your usual supplier for any reason, because, I don't know, maybe the other one has a faster lead time and you are maybe in a hurry. It could be a reason.
Very clear. Another question that gets a lot of traction, I see. Can replenishment also take into account the min quantity field of the supplier's tab on the product sheet? No, it only works when you create manually a purchase order. So we are talking about the min quantity on the supplier tab on the product form.
Yes, so we are talking about the minimum from the vendor price list, right? Yes, right. Okay. So here what is going to happen actually is that if the reordering rule sees that your first vendor price list has a minimum quantity which is not met for the quantity you need to replenish, it's then going to choose the next vendor price list in the list for which the conditions are met. And if you have no price list at all with conditions which are all right, you're just going to choose the first vendor in your price list and trigger an RFQ with a price at €0, so that you can visually notice that there is a problem about this order and that you should discuss with your supplier about the price and the lead time, etc.
And related to that question with minimum quantity on the supplier price list, is it also possible to handle multiples per vendor?
Multiple, sorry?
I guess multiple quantities per vendor. Is it possible to handle it in the replenishment rules?
Sorry, I'm not sure I understood the question.
I guess it's, yeah.
If it's your question, just come to the product booth. I'll be happy to discuss that with you.
Another question that goes about performance, I guess. Someone is asking whether just-in-time logic would be possible for a distributor with nearly 100,000 items.
Well, maybe you would need, I don't know, a bit of development, maybe to optimize this even further. But I think that, yes, the replenishment dashboard is a great basis to manage your replenishment, no matter how big is your company.
And normally, you won't have all the items displayed at the same time.
Yes, normally you don't have to replenish everything at once. Well, I hope for you, but and you have filters, so it's easy to just navigate in the replenishment dashboard.
Is it possible to create purchase order only based on back orders from customers, even if you work with a min and max stock?
Well, here I'm not sure to understand the use case, so same than before. You can just come to the product booth and we can check that together to see if it could work.
Let's see. Can the lead time be automatically calculated based on the previous delivery time?
For now, it's standard. It's not the case, but I agree it would be interesting.
Let's see. Can I validate multiple replenishment suggestions in one click?
Yes, you can select in mass all the reordering rule you want based on some filters that you have done before. And then when you select in mass, you can just click on the main button on the top of the replenishment dashboard, which is replenish, if I remember well. And there you have the choice between the normal order and the order to max. So if you're just launching a normal replenishment, you will click on order, and you will have all your reordering rule triggered at once.
Someone else is asking whether the RFQ step is mandatory in the replenishment process.
Yes, for now we cannot skip that step. Odoo will always create first an RFQ and not directly a PO, so that you still have control to check that everything is all right, and then you confirm this RFQ with your supplier, and you can set it as a PO.
Another question, if multiple POs are open at the same vendor, which one will be used when the replenishment rule is activated?
Well, it's going to choose the one that has been created on the same day. So for example, if I had the first RFQ created yesterday for some products and a new one created today for other products I needed to replenish today, that I launched something, it's going to arrive in my last RFQ.
I think here we have a feedback for the future product owner. Asking leading time in working days, please, including public holidays abroad. Same for weekly agreed order moments. Every Tuesday order delivered by Tuesday next week, for instance.
Yes, I know it's a recurring feedback. So we've heard it. We are going to discuss it, and we'll see, maybe for next year.
So to be added to the backlog of feedbacks. Still plenty of questions. I'm not sure we are going to cover all of them because time is passing by, but let's choose one or two extra. We already asked that. Here it's about, can the reordering rules be used to order full containers?
Well, you will need to pilot the replenishment dashboard yourself to optimize it in your head, because right now you don't have suggestion about that topic. So maybe with the development it could be done, but in pure standards it's not suggested right now.
And one last question, I'm checking. Visibility days are nice if your customer order weeks, months ahead, but in e-commerce customers place orders for shipment same or next day. So yeah, it's more feedback here. I think we covered most of the questions, so yeah, we need to end. So thank you very much again, Charlotte.
With pleasure.